Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Fargo. Today I'm going to talk to you about bracing for scoliosis. Bracing is a very interesting subject because it fills a gap between two extremes, surgery and doing nothing, or surgery and doing conservative ways of approaching scoliosis, which haven't been really shown in the literature to do much to either correct or prevent progression of scoliosis. So bracing, what is it? Most of us may remember, particularly if we're a bit older, may remember kids who showed up at school with braces that had a big steel frame with a leather thing holding them up. Those of us who grew up in the 60s and 70s remember that. That was known as a Milwaukee brace. Well, that is not what we're talking about. Those types of braces were very cumbersome, difficult to use, and they actually were not very effective. Modern scoliosis bracing is far different. Now, the reason you might brace somebody would be some or all of the following. They have pain. There's a risk of progression or worsening of the curve. They have a deformity or posture that they simply don't like. Or there's a high risk of progression. Any of those factors could be sufficient reason to do bracing for people. And it should be noted that bracing can be done in infants. I've done braces for kids as young as 20 months old, and I've done braces for people in their 80s. One of my friends did one on a 95-year-old recently. He's the current record holder. Anyway, bracing is very effective, and current literature shows that particularly with adults, the rate of progression is dramatically slowed by bracing. Dramatically slowed. So, what is it really like? In traditional medical circles, the type of brace that's used, it's known as a TLSO brace. I won't tell you what it stands for, or a Boston brace. In this type of brace, what happens if a person has a curve like this? What will be done is the person will be put into a plaster cast and a brace will be manufactured to simply hold the curve in place, which unfortunately misses an opportunity, which is with, for example, a growing person, you miss the opportunity to harness the power of a growing spine to actually what? Correct or reduce to the greatest extent possible curves that the person may be developing. This type of bracing, once again a Boston type brace, this type of bracing simply puts pressure on a person in 3 points. It works largely two-dimensionally. It's a 3-point brace. You have 2 points here, 1 point here, pushing on the brace. This compressive force, what it does is it also will allow muscles to weaken, postural muscles that are necessary. These braces often also close in the back, so the person cannot put it on themselves. In addition, they tend to flatten the low back curve, which creates all kinds of other problems. I've had patients brought to me who've been braced by major children's hospitals, which the brace did nothing to change the curvature, and in fact they worsened with the brace on. There is an alternative. It's known as ScoliBrace. ScoliBrace was developed by Dr. Jeb McAviney out of Sydney, Australia. He spent decades studying all the existing bracing technology and came up with an algorithm, a model of how to actually take and unwind the three-dimensional nature of scoliosis, because scoliosis is a three-dimensional spinal distortion involving shifting, bending, and rotation. He created a model, a computer model, that allows scoliotic curves to be unwound by bracing. This brace, and I'll show you an example of it, this brace looks like this. This is just a demo of what you see, but what you'll notice about it, it's very non-symmetrical. This brace is made using the latest computer-aided design and manufacturing technology. Every brace that's made, it doesn't matter if it was my first brace or my 500th brace, The quality is the same, unlike traditional bracing, which relies very much on the skill of the orthotist or the sculptor, essentially, who's making the brace. These braces, like I said, provide a unique three-dimensional solution to scoliosis, whereas the others do not. They're easy to use, they're lightweight, people can wear them under their clothes, and the most important thing is, this type of bracing can, in many cases, cause a reduction in the curve and absolutely can prevent progression. So this is the latest thing. Now I want to tell you how we create these. When a person comes in, rather than simply putting him in a plaster cast and creating a hold-in-place brace, we take X-ray images. Here's an example of some X-ray images. We take postural photographs. Here's an example of that. And last but not least, we do three-dimensional laser scanning of the person's body in 4 positions, like you see pictured here, that allows the brace manufacturer to take and combine all of this information to create a perfectly tailored and fitted brace for each individual situation. Each scoliosis case is different, and each requires a unique three-dimensional solution. That's ScoliBrace. Thanks for all your attention. I appreciate it.